the last special segment that you're going to be dealing with is a mid-segment. So we're going to still plot the points that were given A, B, and C. So we have -4, 1, and we have 2, 7. This was A, this is B, and then C is 4, -3. All right, and we're going to go ahead and connect the points to create the triangle ABC. Let's move that one over a little. I think everything lines up. Okay, so, well, to understand or to create the equation for a mid-segment, we have to understand its definition. And basically, a mid-segment must pass through the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So I could give you our steps, where basically the first thing is we're going to have to find the midpoints of each side. Okay, I'll go ahead and write that down. So yeah, you're going to find the I'm going to abbreviate midpoints of each. That's what they're asking us to do here. They want us to find the midpoint of AB and to find the midpoint of BC. Now, I can do that using the midpoint formula, or I can just kind of count it on the graph using the slope. So, for example, if I'm on the side AB and I count my rise over run, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and 6. The midpoint would have to be half of that. So half of that would be 3 and 3. So that would be that point right there. So, I mean, you can use your slope if you needed to. I'm just going to go ahead and, or use the midpoint formula, take the average of your x coordinates, and then the average of your y coordinates, and that would give you the coordinate for your midpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and label that M. I'm going to put tick marks to show that it's a midpoint. And I'm going to find that coordinate. That coordinate is a -1, 4. And then we need to find the midpoint of the other side, BC. So, again, I can do rise over run. I can use my midpoint formula. I can just look on the graph and see where it's halfway between. And I believe it's at 3, 2. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and make that point D. Put 2 tick marks to show D is the midpoint of BC, which is different than the midpoint of AB. So that was the quarter pair 3, 2. All right. So once you first find your midpoints of each side, we're basically going to just connect those two midpoints, okay, and basically draw the mid-segment. So you can say second connect them if you want to, or just, I'm going to write it just in case. So connect the two midpoints. And then third, which is the next thing, is we need to find the slope. We're going to find the slope of that mid-segment. And I'm going to abbreviate again. We're going to find the slope of the mid-segment. We just connected, we just drew, we just constructed. And then, of course, the last two steps are the same, which is to use point slope form. And then fifth, solve for y. No different than the other special segments we use. So now that I have connected the two. Okay, so now that I have connected the two midpoints and drawn the mid-segment, I can find the slope, because we're going to have to write the equation of the mid-segment. They want us to, the equation of the mid-segment from sides AB of the triangle, so which is the two sides of the triangle. And they want us to write the equation for that mid-segment. So basically, since we need to find the slope, there's two ways you can do that. You can use your 2 points, which we have over here, okay? And we can use the slope formula. which basically says y2 minus y1 over x2, oops, minus x1. I could do that. Or I can use the graph and just do rise over run. I can count my rise over run. Well, I can physically see that this mid-segment is decreasing, so it's a negative slope. And I can just count the rise over run between them. So that's down 2 to the right 4. So my slope would get reduced to 1/2. And it's a negative slope, so negative 1/2. And then, since I have my slope, I'm just now going to get into the point slope form. So here, the answers could vary depending on which point you use. You could use the point M for the midpoint of side AB, or you can use the point D for the midpoint of side BC. I'm going to use point M, so I'm going to use my point slope form and do y minus 4 equals 1/2, parentheses, so negative 1/2, parentheses, x plus 1. And then if they ask us to, we would solve for y. We would distribute, and that would leave me with, I need to make some room. Oh, I should have some. That would leave me with y minus 4 equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2. And then when I add the 4 to both sides, y equals a negative 1/2 x plus 7/2. Yeah, this is 4 over 2. 8 over 2 is 4. All right. Yep. So there's your slope-intercept form. So those are your steps for dealing with mid-segments, to write the equation of a mid-segment. And then we're going to look at the last little example, and make sure you can do your altitudes. Draw your altitudes on the coordinate plane, write the equation for those altitudes on the coordinate plane, and just do some problem solving on the coordinate plane to find the orthocenter, because it asks for the orthocenter on the next example. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here and check out the next video.